What's going on, everybody? So today I'm actually going to start working on the heads and checking the two valves out that made contact with everything. I have the valves or the heads off. We're gonna pull the valves. I just got the tool in, and we'll get working on that. But first, I gotta clean up and make some room so I can move things around. So let's get to it. Now that that's taken care of, it's time to start getting into this. I'm going to get the tools out, and we're going to start on probably this driver's side since it's got the most amount of room in it. So we'll get to it and take it from there. We've got everything taken out that we need to get to these little retainer clips in here. So got the cams out, and it's never a good idea to lay them down like this for very long because they can warp. So it's always a good idea to leave them vertical, and it's hard to keep them that way because if you bump stuff, they can fall over, and if they fall over, it's even worse than laying them on the ground. So you definitely want to be careful. This head gasket, I'm not really reusing it, but it's good to know where things went, and then the bolts, the other cam gears. And these pucks are already out that sit on top of each of these. So now we'll take this apart, get to working on it. So I got a couple new tools while doing this, and one of them is a valve compressor or a spring compressor. It works out pretty slick. So the top part of the spring sits on this side, and then the bottom of the valve sits on this side. So it allows the spring to be compressed and not just push the valve down, because sometimes if you just try to push the valve or the spring, the valve will go down with it. So you want to keep the valve pushed up and the spring pushing down. Then you can there's two little retainers that sit up there on top of the cap, and then the spring, and then there's a wear plate on the bottom. Works out super slick. You can adjust it. It's got a smaller head or a bigger head, and then you can tighten it down if you need to. The coolest part about this one is it's got this lever on it, which is a quick release, and when you push it in, it pushes the valve in. So you only have to set it once, and then you can just push it down, take your retainer clips out, and then pull it out, and it gives you enough room to get it out over the cylinder or over the head. This is the whole system that's in there. You've got this bottom piece, probably like a wear piece, the spring, your top cap with retainer holes, and then your two retainers that sit in there. They've got a little groove on them. Yeah, you're not going to be able to see. They got a little groove on them that keep them in place. So I think the whole kit comes with everything in this, and I don't think that it comes with retainers. So I'm saving these and making sure they're in a safe place. And then I'm going to keep these until I know for sure. The parts should be coming in, but if I need to reuse a piece on this, then I'll be able to. And I made a little compartment to make sure I keep everything kind of organized. That way, if it is actually cylinder based or position based, like the valves, you can't switch valves, and the springs, you can't switch springs between intake and exhaust, but you can switch them down the row. They should be all the same spring rate, but I won't be needing these anymore, as I've got new ones coming. Now that we've got all of our exhaust intakes out, you can see through them back there. It's time to move on now to the intakes. Here we go. We've got the valves done on both heads, the driver and passenger, and organized well enough that I can figure things out. A cool trick that I learned a long time ago is if you want to compartmentalize a box, you can cut the tabs off of it, and they fit perfectly inside both ways. So you can really have 1, 2, 3, 6 compartments. No. 1, 2, 3, 3 by 3. So you can have a lot of compartments if you put both of these. You just cut a slit halfway down one, halfway down the other, flip it over and stick them together. And then you have a compartment for each thing, and everything's numbered. And then these are just drilled through the top. I wanted these out because they wouldn't have fit in there, and that keeps them organized a little bit better if I keep them like this. They're just poked right through. So here's the two pistons that actually made contact. You can see the little contact patch right there and right there. The other ones seem fine. I'm going to take these out and see how bent they are, if they are bent. Just looking at it, it doesn't look bent, but looking at it and I guess figuring it out is two different things. One of the quickest and easiest ways to figure out if a valve is bent is to take it to your bench or a flat spot, even a 2x4 that's pretty flat, and roll it across on the valve or on the stem part. You gotta be careful because it tapers out a little bit, so you want to keep it probably from there up on the wood, wherever it tapers. And you can look underneath it with a flashlight behind it or whatnot, and then roll it, slowly roll it, and you'll be able to see it go up and down if it's bent. If it's not, it should stay pretty consistent. From that, it turns out that the number 3 and number 4 exhaust valve have a slight bend in it. It definitely isn't as bad as I was thinking it was going to be. And this contact patch really isn't too terribly bad, but they are bent and it's best to replace them. I've got them coming anyway, so I'm just going to replace all of them. And then the valve guides that actually sit in there, which I got to figure out how to take them out. I probably have to press them out, but that will come at a later video. So 2 valves bent, that's not bad out of all of them. I'll live with that, but I still have to replace them all. Doesn't matter. Anyways, gonna replace them all new, have new parts, and that'll be good to go. I want to thank you guys again for watching. This has been eventful. I haven't ever done this before on an engine, so it's cool to kind of go outside my comfort zone and try something a little more challenging. I'm always up for a challenge, and this has been a little bit challenging. So thanks for taking this ride with me, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Peace!